It's week one, guys. Week one this Saturday. It's gonna be big. It's gonna be great. It's against Illinois State, okay? And none of us are gonna sit here and act surprised. So whenever I looked at it, the Vegas odds had Oklahoma. It would have been roughly around 46-12 is what they're predicting Oklahoma to the score to be. That's Vegas's odds of what they're projecting, because they're projecting a 35.5 point spread, I believe is what I saw last. And then they're projecting the over under at 50 and 60.5, I believe it is. Let me pull it up just so I can verify real quick with you. Yeah, because I was looking at this. So about 46-12 is what they're projecting. 60.5 for the over under, 35.5 point spread. So that puts you a quick break in the action. Make sure you hit that like button and make sure you are subscribed. If you want to support the channel a little bit further, jump down to the link down in the description below and make sure you become a member today for as low as $2.99 a month. We're going to offer so much more for our members, but we're still going to keep all of the same old content. All of this content is still going to be brought to you guys, but just a little bit extra for our members. Let's get back to the action. 40, did I say 46? 48-12, sorry. Right around that range is what you're looking at there. So 48, 46-12, something like that. And so, it's interesting when you look at it and seeing that 48-12, I mean, that's kind of surprising to me. If Oklahoma were to go in and only beat Illinois State 48-12, man, I don't know if I totally agree with that. I'm not. I would be very disappointed if Oklahoma only won 48-12. That's kind of what I'm getting at. And we can pull up the depth chart real quick too. Let's pull this up and take a look, because if you guys haven't had a chance to go look at the depth chart, we've got it here. And I could share that on the screen as well. We're sharing all kinds of stuff on the screen today, so why not? We got the one depth chart released this week, and it's pretty interesting. Maybe I'll try to blow it up here, see if that helps at all. Maybe not, because it might get cut off by some of this. But anyways, here on the depth chart, obviously you've got John Mateer there at your starting quarterback. No surprises there, and then Michael Hawkins behind him with Neubauer. At the running back position, this is one where Oklahoma fans are kind of torn. They're not really sure what to go with here. They're looking at it and saying, why is Jaden Ott sitting there at third or fourth with Xavier Robinson? So third/fourth, you're basically putting both of them at the running back 3 slot. And again, this is game one, and I'll get to my thoughts on all of this. This is game one. They're trying to keep some of their guys healthy. They're trying to keep some of their guys to where they don't need to showcase Jaden Ott. They don't need to showcase any of their major guys. John Mateer probably won't play very long. Hopefully by halfway through the second quarter, he can come off and let Michael Hawkins Jr. take over. But anyways, moving down, you got Keontae Lewis there at the X. I like to see that. Ivan Carrion also listed there. Elijah Thomas, third on that list. I'm kind of wondering, again, if this might be a little bit of, we're not showcasing all of our talent. Again, I don't totally agree with it. I'm going to get to that point. Here's a big surprise that kind of caught everybody off guard, and I've heard many people say this. I've heard/seen a lot. It's Jaron Kanak lining up there at the first. It's not Jaron Kanak or Will Huggins or Carson Kent. It's Jaron Kanak is your 1, and then you've got Will Huggins there at your 2, and Carson Kent at your 3. Of course, I believe that Caden Helms is not on this list mainly because of that hand fracture. Not that it's really going to restrict him from being able to play. It's just, why play him against Illinois State? Why even put him on the depth chart against Illinois State rather than just give him a day of rest? Why potentially hurt that even any worse? I believe that he'll heal if he heals up, that he'll be on this depth chart at tight end. I would imagine. But I am interested to see what happens with Jaron Kanak. Does he go out there and play, and he's on the depth chart, and then all of a sudden he works his way into an actual starting role into week 2 against Michigan? And if that's the case, you might see more of him if he performs well again there. But the main thing that we're hearing out of fall camp is more that Jaron Kanik is looking way better than expected at that role. It's just there's certain things that you can tell he's not really ready. Maybe not ready. Ready's not the right word. He's not. He's pretty new to this position. I should say it that way. It's obvious that he's new to the position, but he has shown improvement, is what we're hearing out of fall camp. We'll see that whenever it comes to fruition. I guess we don't know how much he's improved and all that. But anyways, Jaron Kanik at tight end, I'm excited for that because you got to think with his athleticism, he's not your typical tight end. So lining him up at tight end where you've got some beefy linebacker covering him, that could cause some issues. And so I'm very interested to see how they utilize him there at tight end. Obviously, I don't think he's going to be your big tight end that you put in your blocking scenarios unless he has totally improved on his blocking, because I know that was the big concern out of fall camp with him. Anyways, going on to the offensive line, you've got Michael Fasusi or Jacob Sexton or Luke Baklenko. So you've got like total, we don't know who's going to be starting there at left tackle. I'm assuming this is a lot of playing a game with putting guys on your offensive line, but I will say this. For the offensive line, I don't like to see all these ors. There was 19 ors, which is just basically saying we can swap any of them up for number one or drop another for number two, but for whatever role they're going into. So there were 19 on this list, if I remember correctly, if I counted that correctly in the past. So that's a lot. That is a lot. I was thinking, man, like 12 is a lot. And I think I've seen that in the past, like last year. This is a lot, and specifically on the offensive line. So at left tackle, Michael Fasusi, Jacob Sexton, Luke Baklenko, you don't know who's starting. You just don't know. And I want to believe that that's playing a game, but I don't know that it is. I don't know who's going to be starting there. And then at left guard, you got Heath Ozeta or Eddie Pierre-Louis starting there. You got Danny, who's also starting, UK Dan, who's starting there. Or he's going to be your third guy, so he's not going to be the starter. But it's between Heath Ozeta and Eddie Pierre-Louis. Then at center, this has been one that is kind of going around. You don't know who's going to start. Is it going to be Troy Everett or is it going to be Jake Mikula? And I think that's interesting. I think it's really interesting to look at that one. I think Troy Everett is going to be your guy. He is a team captain for a reason. But I am questioning who is going to be that guy that starts there at center for the Oklahoma Sooners come week 2. Really, even in week 1, I'm interested. I could see them doing some shifting, obviously, as you get into week 1 if you get a big enough lead and moving on. But I don't know. I don't like all of these ors, especially at the center position. And then, of course, at right guard, you are going to see Fabechi Wiwu there. It seems that he has pretty much won his position. He's staying there at that right guard position. And then Ryan Foje right behind him, which is really good to see that the young guy is stepping up and he's marked as a secured second string right there. So you're probably going to see him take some snaps, at least in these types of games, because you're going to get your starters out and let your backup guys go in there and conserve guys' energy, conserve their health, all that kind of stuff. And then a right tackle, again, it's playing who's who with Derek Simmons, Logan Howland, or Jake Taylor. Either three of them could start. Going on, you've got Isaiah Satania. I would expect him to be your normal slot guy. And then you've got Deion Burks at the Z position as well, with Jermichael Carter, who will probably get some significant snaps this Saturday as well, which is really fun to see. And then, of course, Zion Kearney probably getting his way in there a little bit, getting his feet wet again as well. So very interested to see how all of this shapes up. And then over on the defensive side, I didn't really see a whole lot that I was really questioning or didn't know how it was going to work out. But I do like to see Taylor Wine or Marvin Jones Jr. sitting there at the number 1 for that left defensive end. That's interesting to see that Taylor Wine may have a starting position there, or at least a very big role, which is very fun to see. And then, of course, Danny Okoye there, defensive tackle. I think you're going to see Jaden Jackson. He's going to be your main guy. And then, of course, Grayson Holton's going to get quite a bit of snaps as well. Grayson Holton will probably be your starter once he gets up to 100%. But then you're probably going to see Jaden Jackson the most. And then, of course, Dominic Williams, and David Stone. You're going to see both of them kind of swapping in and out. R. Mason Thomas is your for sure guy there at number 1. And then you see Kobe McKenzie or Sammy. So again, you kind of got, you don't know who is going to be. I think Kobe McKenzie is going to be your starter there in that Mike position, but Sammy's going to get some playing time this year, and that's really good to see at the linebacker position there at Mike. And then, of course, with your Will on that weak side, you've got Kep Lewis, probably going to be your main guy. Owen Heineke, though, a guy that we've heard a lot about at fall camp, he's getting a little bit of attention there, possibly getting some play time as well. And then, of course, Kendall Daniels as well. But we also see Kendall Daniels listed sharing with Reggie Powers at the cheetah position, which I love to see. You don't see Kendall Dolby here on this list, which concerns me a little, but they might just be playing it safe. Just play it safe. Let him heal up. I don't know. Time will tell on that because he's not on this list at all. Cortland Guillory getting that cornerback spot with Jacoby Johnson. They're going to be rotating those guys out pretty fairly often, I would believe. And then, of course, you got Peyton Bowen there, strong safety. You got free safety. You got Michael Boganovsky or Robert Spears Jennings. You're going to see both of them kind of splitting off quite a bit. And then, of course, Gentry Williams over there at corner. Very excited to see him playing more. And then, of course, Jeremiah Newcomb. Anyways, if you liked this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. If you want to support this channel, keep on growing, and for more to be offered to you, become a member today for as low as $2.99 a month. That's as cheap as, honestly, cheaper than just grabbing a coffee down at the coffee shop each day. So go down there, down below. $2.99 a month is what we start off our memberships, and it will help us keep on growing and offering you more and more content as we grow. Of course, make sure you're subscribed, and that link is down in the description below to become a member today to help us keep on growing. We'll see you next time. Boomer.